Yeah, good evening to you all. Let us start today class number 31. Today I am going to explain you about one of the important time domain specification parameter, that is peak time. In the previous presentation we have seen about two important time domain specifications, namely the first one we have seen, that is delay time, and the second one is the rise time, that you can able to watch uh, through our previous presentations. Okay, today I am going to explain you about the other important time domain specification as that is peak time. Okay, peak time, that is peak time, that is called as T suffix P. What is the peak time? Peak time is nothing but the time required for the response, or otherwise the time required, the time taken by the response to reach to the peak value, to reach the peak of its value. That is what the time required for the response to reach the peak value. Okay, that's called the peak time. Okay, so to see that time response, and you just go through our previous presentations, presentation number 29 or 30. You can go through it and you can elaborately, you can able to see that. Okay, so here there is a mathematical expression for this TP. So in order to find out the expression for the peak time TP, we have to do a small mathematical calculation. So for that you need to, I think you have remembered what is the response of a second order system. We know that the response of a second order system, that is nothing but C of t. C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta omega n times t under square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine of omega d times t plus theta. This is the expression for the response of a second order system. So you must remember this. C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta times omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine of omega d t plus theta. This is the expression. This is nothing but the response. C of t is nothing but your response. So I think we have explained in the previous presentation, zeta is the damping ratio, or otherwise can also be called as damping factor, whereas this is the omega n is the natural frequency, natural damped frequency, whereas omega d unnatural damped frequency. Okay, so this is what the expression. Okay, in order to find out the expression for TP, what we should do? So you need to do a simple calculation. What is that? This implies just take the derivative of C of t with respect to t. Okay, take the differentiation. So take the that is nothing but d by dt. What is that? D by dt, that is nothing but time derivative, d by dt of C of t. Okay, so you differentiate this C of t. This is what the C of t expression, actually C of t is equal to this much. So you differentiate this entire, that is nothing but d by dt of C of t, means d by dt of this entire expression. You okay, derivative this and substitute wherever t is there, just substitute t is equal to tp and finally equate to 0 that expression. Okay, you derivative this expression with respect to time and then finally you equate to 0, then with that you will get some expression. From that you can have the value of tp, that is peak time. That I will do now for you, just you follow. Okay, this is the simple thing you need to remember. Derivative, you have to apply the differentiation or otherwise the derivative. Okay, so what is C of t? Just now I written C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta times omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine of omega d times t plus theta. This is what our expression. This implies now differentiate. Okay, differentiate by differentiating what? By differentiating the above expression, by differentiating the above C of t with respect to time, that is t, that is t. This implies that is nothing but d by dt of C of t. This implies first you differentiate, then we will equate to 0. Clear? D by dt of C of t. Find out that this is nothing but d by dt of C of t is nothing but what? This entire expression, that is 1 minus e power minus zeta times omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square into sine of omega d times t plus theta. Clear? So d by dt of C of t is nothing but d by dt is nothing but d by dt. What is C of t? C of t is equal to this much, this entire. Write the same in this. This implies what you will have? What you will have? So differentiate this entire expression with respect to t. So this is constant. Then d by dt of 1 is 0. Therefore it will be 0. Then what we will have? D by dt of, because 1 becomes 0, constant, no? So d by dt of 1 is 0. Therefore I will not write that. Okay, so this will be, or otherwise d by dt of 1 for your kind, this thing I will expand this. D by dt of 1, then d by dt of write the remaining everything, that is e power. Okay, so it is minus is there already, minus I have taken here, therefore it is minus zeta times omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square sine of omega d into t plus theta. Clear? Just I am expanding d by dt of 1, I am writing first, then minus is there, d by dt of second term means the entire second term, this one, this entire thing. That's what. Now in the next step I will write that okay, what we will have in the next step? This implies d by dt of 1 is obviously 0 because derivative of constant, 1 is constant, therefore derivative of constant is 0. therefore that is 0. It is minus is there. Then d by dt of e power minus zeta omega t by 1 minus zeta square into sine, means you can treat this term as u, and you can treat the second sine of omega dt plus this everything is v, means u into v. Okay, you might have remembered that d derivative of or d by dt, no problem, d by dt of u into v, I think you might have studied in your intermediate also. D by dt of uv means uv, what is the formula? U into dv plus v into du, that is the formula. Clear? So if you assume that this as u, this is as v, then u into dv means you keep this term as it is, then dv nothing but you differentiate this. Dv means d by dt of v, you have to differentiate the second term, plus now keep v as it is, means not required to differentiate this, keep v as same as it is, plus v du. Du means differentiation of you differentiate this term, that's all. That's what the meaning of derivative of d by dt of nothing but you have to apply this rule here. This means, so however it is 0, therefore not required to write, that's we know. Now this implies, now it is minus is there, it is 0, this is straight away 0, not required to write. So minus will be there here. D by dt of, you can write minus outside, it will be here only. Then as per this rule, u means this entire thing, so you keep as it is, means e power minus zeta omega n into t by square root of 1 minus zeta square, you write as it is, because as per formula u is there, therefore this entire thing as u. Now what is v into du? Okay, this is u into dv, no, this is u into dv into dv, means you differentiate this. So this is the sine term, basically you have to differentiate this one dv. Dv means differentiation of v, means if you differentiate sine, then sine differentiation of sine is cos, therefore you write cos of omega dt plus theta. Clear? It will come, I will erase this. Okay, cos of omega dt plus theta, this, if you differentiate sine, sine will be converted as cos. Again in bracket you have one parameter, that is omega d, omega suffix d, basically omega suffix d into t plus theta. Theta is constant here. Then if you differentiate this part, you will have omega d. Clear? Because sine will be converted, so this is the total function, so function should be converted first, that is what sine of everything, means you consider it as sine function. Sine function will be differentiated, then if you differentiate sine function, that will be converted as cos, the remaining everything will become as it is. Then within the bracket what is there? Omega d times t plus theta, then you differentiate the bracket also. So here omega d times t means as you are differentiating with respect to t, t becomes 1, d by dt of t is 1, therefore omega d remains as constant, therefore that omega d will remain here, and theta however as constant, so derivative of constant is 0. Clear? This is what u into dv, that is the meaning of this. Now plus now v into du, v means you can keep, v means the sine of second term, so sine of omega d times t plus theta you keep as it is, u v into du means you differentiate this, means this is exponential term, basically exponential e power x. So here e power minus zeta omega n into t by 1 minus square root of square, na total exponential. If you differentiate exponential only will come, means you write as it is minus zeta omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square. As it is, it will come, because as it is you write. Next, okay, next, what is there in the exponential? Minus zeta times omega n into t is there. So t becomes 1. What else? Minus zeta times omega n will come in bracket. Minus zeta times omega n. That's it. That's it. Your bracket closes. Clear? That's all. This is what the meaning of it. U into dv plus v into du. That is the meaning of it. Understood? It is very simple formula. You might have studied. You definitely should study it in your intermediate. There is not nothing new actually. Clear? And then next, what is the next step? This implies now, for simplicity, what I will write, for our simplicity, I just because do here, you outside minus is there, you bring this minus inside the bracket. This is the total bracket, square bracket is there. You just put this minus, you just put this minus inside the bracket. Then this minus term will come to this one. Actually, this minus will come to this one, and here in this bracket minus is there, no minus. Here plus into minus, minus, and this minus into minus, plus. Therefore this term will becomes plus, and this minus will comes to here. Therefore this is the plus term. Therefore I will write the plus term first. Means that what actually what I mean to say, it is, and this term I would like to first actually. So again here basically what I will have is zeta omega n by under square root of 1 minus zeta square here. Okay, and e power minus zeta omega n into t of sine of omega dt plus theta. First term na, everything I have written, nothing new. So zeta into omega n by 1 minus zeta square by 1 minus zeta square e power minus zeta omega n t, as it is I have written here. Now this will come the second minus, then you write as it is. That is what it will have actually. So omega d is there, you write that omega d into omega d you write here. Okay, omega d into e power minus zeta times omega n into t by square root of 1 minus zeta square into cos of omega d times t plus theta. Clear? Clear? Is it not? This implies clear. Now you substitute wherever omega d is there, not in the bracket, here wherever omega d is there, you just substitute omega d is equal to omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. So we know now basically omega d is undamped natural frequency. This is the natural frequency. So omega d is equal to, if you write omega n into omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square, you know this formula. You apply this formula in this. Then basically what you will have, basically then as it is you write here, means zeta times omega n by square root of 1 minus zeta square e power, here nothing will change, as it is you will have the same, into sine of omega d t plus theta. Here nothing will come, as it is you will write here, minus, here omega d is there, no, you write here omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square by 1 minus zeta square e power minus zeta omega n into t into cos of omega d times t plus theta. Clear? Following, no? So next, the next step is, our next step is, so what you will write? So this implies you do one thing. What is that actually? So you write some term as common here. This is first term, this is the second term basically. In these two, omega n into e power minus zeta omega nt by 1 minus zeta square. This whole, this part, this one, is it not? Omega n, this part you can take as common, means that is what? Omega n into e power minus zeta omega n into t by square root of 1 minus zeta square. So in both the terms we have this term, no, omega n into e power minus zeta omega nt by 1 minus zeta square. It is there in this term as well as here also, omega n into e power minus zeta 1 by 1 minus zeta square. Take as common. You take that term as common in both the terms. Then what you will have here? Zeta, you will remain zeta, no? Zeta into this part, sine of omega dt plus theta, clear, minus, then what is there actually? Omega n, everything is, so it is square root of 1 minus zeta square remains here, 1 minus zeta square into cos omega dt plus theta. Clear? Is it not? This is what the next step. Now, so if you, now you need to write the zeta and then 1 minus zeta square values. If you form a relation between zeta and zeta square from this right angle triangle, this you can say theta, and so if you, this as zeta and this will as 1 minus zeta square, then this will becomes obviously 1. Then from this you can write from this triangle, from this right angle triangle, sin theta is equal to what? It is square root of 1 minus zeta square by 1. It is nothing but square root of 1 minus zeta square, means your 1 minus zeta square becomes what? Okay, 1 minus zeta square is equal to your sin theta. This becomes your sin theta. And similarly, what is cos theta? Cos theta is equal to zeta by 1. It is zeta. Means wherever zeta is there, this is what your cos theta. If you convert that zeta and square root of 1 minus zeta square in, you must write these two in terms of sin and cos theta. Then from this triangle, you can write this will equal to your zeta equal to your cos theta. So this equal to cos theta and this equal to your sin theta. This portion becomes sin theta. Clear? That's what I need to write. So in the second expression, I will write for you that this implies omega n e power minus zeta omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square into this zeta equal to your cos theta from the right angle triangle. This will remains the same, omega dt plus theta, nothing will change, minus 1 minus becomes your sin theta, and then this becomes your cos of omega dt plus theta. Clear? This implies now, and you can rearrange this. Basically, from the trigonometric relations, there is a relation sin of a minus b. Okay, sin of a minus b. You know, sin of a minus b from the trigonometric relations. What is sin of a minus b? It is sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. This is the very important formula. You might have studied in your 10 plus 1 in your first year intermediate, it will come in trigonometry. Sin of a minus b is equal to sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. Therefore, if you see this carefully, this will follows this basically. This is sin a, this is cos b. Sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. Okay, sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. Therefore, sin a cos b. You write sin term first, cos term next. Sin a cos b na. So you write this first and then. So overall this equal to what? Sin of a minus b. Basically what I mean to say is sin of a minus b. So you must write this as sin of a minus b form. Okay. So before writing that sin of a minus b form, just what I need to write, no, it is omega n. Basically it is a simple mathematical simplification, nothing to worry about it. If you practice it, you definitely can understand. Nothing difficult is there in this. It is a simple mathematical. So you write sin term first because sin a cos b as for formula. Therefore sin means sin of omega dt plus theta. This is what your sin term. Then write cos means sin a cos b means cos b. Cos comes next. Sin a cos b minus cos a. Cos means write the cos term first. Cos of omega dt plus theta and sin b means sin theta. Clear? So sin of this is what sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. And overall what you can write? This entire nothing but sin of a minus b. So here sin of a means this is a. Cos b, theta is b. Clear? Sin a is nothing but what is a? Omega dt plus theta. The entire thing whatever is there in the bracket you can name it as a. Cos theta, theta as b. Therefore I can write this as like this. Omega n e power minus zeta omega n into t under square root of 1 minus zeta square. Now I can write this as sin of a minus b. So sin of what is a? It is omega dt plus theta. This is a. What is b? Sin of a minus b. B is theta again. This theta will be cancelled out. What is there actually now? I can write this in the next step. Guys, it is very simple. Don't feel bored or something else because just I want to give you the solution of it. Nothing is difficult basically. It is a simple mathematical simplification step by step. If you follow, then without any confusion you will reach your conclusion. Therefore, theta will be cancelled out. Then what you will have? It is omega n e power minus zeta omega n. Clear? Omega n into t by under square root of 1 minus zeta square. Then what you will have? Sin of omega d times t. That's all. Theta cancel. Now in this you can make to 0 by simplifying t is equal to tp. That is the meaning of that, my dear. Clear? Now this is what the final you have actually. Now this entire you should finally this is what the term remained. Means t by dt of c of t is nothing but this. This is the final term you achieved, and this final term you should equate to 0 by applying t is equal to tp. So wherever t is there, you simplify. You just replace it as tp. That means that omega n e power minus zeta omega n t, right, tp by square root of 1 minus zeta square into sin of omega d tp equal to 0. That is the meaning of it. That is the meaning of it. From this, let us see. This is the exponential term. All this is a product, no? This entire thing is product. Remember that exponential term never becomes 0. E power minus zeta omega n into tp. Okay, this is the exponential term. Exponential term never becomes 0. This is a constant. Again, this is the frequency also constant. Therefore, this part never becomes 0. Never becomes 0. Therefore, what is the possibility? This should become 0. Sine term should become 0. Means, what is the meaning of it then? What is the meaning of it? So, what is the meaning? And the exponential term should not become 0. Means, you can write e power minus zeta omega n tp. This never, that should not become to 0. And then what is the other possibility? That is sine of omega into tp. This should equal to 0. That should equal to 0. Okay, sine of omega. So means you can write this as sine phi. You can write as sine phi. No problem, equal to 0. What is your phi? Phi is equal to omega into Tp. You can write, no problem. For what value of phi? Omega is equal to Tp. So for what value of phi? Phi is equal to, you can write 0 or pi or 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, and so on and so forth. For these values of phi, this sign becomes 0. Therefore, obviously, so we will consider 0 is something meaningless. Therefore, what we will write? So means that sine of omega tp or omega tp is equal to pi. You can equate from here as this implies omega tp equal to pi. Take the initial reading. Omega tp is equal to pi. From here, this implies omega tp is equal to pi. This implies, what is tp? It is pi. What is omega? Omega is nothing but your omega d. This is nothing but your omega d. Omega d. So this is what your expression for Tp. This implies Tp, peak time, is equal to pi by, what is omega d? Omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. This is your final expression. Finally, that is what the expression for Tp, that is peak time. Okay. So with this, just I want to close this presentation today. Therefore, the expression for peak time, that is Tp, is equal to, that is pi by omega d. This is equal to pi by omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square. This is what your expression for Tp. Okay. So friends, I will close this session at this moment, and I think you have understood very clearly this. Okay. So let us we continue. The next, the remaining is the maximum peak overshoot, the next time domain parameter, and the next one is the settling time. So after a completion of those two, we can see some more important questions that have asked in our competitive examinations like GATE and then UPSC. Okay. So thank you one and all.